Grab some more chairs if you need them. Okay, we have the full room today.
Cameraman?
What's that?
The cameraman?
For tonight. Raise the zoom.
Do I need the microphone? Y'all able to hear me well enough?
Organization here in the area, just making sure that this gets developed. Pleases the resident.
All right, I'll use the microphone. Welcome. I want to call this meeting to order. I'm Margie Schmidt. I'm the chair of this Morena Corridor Ad Hoc Subcommittee of the Claremont Community Planning Group that is working with the city on developing a specific plan for the Morena Corridor. So I do want to introduce the rest of the subcommittee. There are currently 9 members of the subcommittee. Oh great, come on in. And part of them are members of the Claremont Community Planning Group, or currently sitting board members on the planning group, and others are community members. So this is Harry Backer, and he's on the planning group. Lynn Titialidi, and she's also on the planning group. Cecilia Frank, who's also on the community planning group. Carol Schleisman, John Shannon, and James Lamadry are all community members. Other members that aren't able to be here tonight are Naveen Waney, who is also on the planning group, and David Potter, who is another community member. So that in lieu of taking roll, I want to go ahead and begin with some old business. As you all know, or you may hopefully all know, that the Mid-Coast Trolley Extension is going to be running along our community, along Morena Boulevard, from Old Town all the way up to UTC. There will be stations at Tecolote Road, at Claremont Drive, and at Balboa Avenue. Currently, we're working with the city to develop a specific plan for the area from Gessner Street, which is just north of Claremont Drive, all the way to Tecolote Road. That is the segment that is currently being evaluated within our Claremont community. Now, this subcommittee was established back in April by the Community Planning Group, and while it isn't required, it was recently suggested that we obtain or have the planning group set a specific task and goal for our subcommittee. And so myself as the chair and Scott Wentworth, the chair of the planning group, developed a task and goal, a draft task and goal that was then presented at the last Claremont Community Planning Group meeting and was approved. Would you, Michael, can you put that up? So these are our approved task is to hold open meetings with representatives of the City of San Diego and interested community members to discuss components of a Morena Boulevard Station area specific plan that falls within our community. And our goal then is, following these meetings, to make recommendations to the community planning group regarding said components of the Morena Corridor specific plan. So while the tasks and components of the specific plan are many and varied, it was felt that these succinct and clear statements reflect the intent of the planning group when the subcommittee was initiated, and that any additional language might potentially complicate our process and the function of the subcommittee. So anyhow, I just wanted to introduce that all to you. Yes. We have had, this is our 6th meeting, and we've had a great deal of discussion, a lot of information, presentations by the community, and discussion among the committee, and presentations by the city, and yet we have not had any formal recommendations to take back to the planning group. But I hope that from here on out we will begin to have some formalized recommendations for the planning group. Okay, a little bit more of old business. Can I finish the old business? Yeah. Okay. At present, I am the only position within the subcommittee. Initially, it wasn't felt that any additional positions were necessary, and there were no volunteers for secretary, but it has been suggested that we bring that up again. And so I'd like to begin with the issue of a vice chair. I feel that the vice chair should be a member of the planning group, and it would just be a role to take over if for some reason I could not complete my responsibilities. So at this time I'd like to solicit any nominations or self-nominations for vice chair of the subcommittee from the committee members. We are, yes. Yes, James.
I'd like to nominate Lynn.
Oh, we have a second on that motion? Lynn, would you accept that nomination?
Sure.
All right, are there any other nominations? No. Okay, then let's put it to any discussion. No. Let's put it to vote then. All those in favor of Lynn being vice chair, please raise your hand. Any opposed? And those abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
Okay.
I think because my nomination, right?
You can vote for yourself. Oh, okay, so that's in favor? Okay, wonderful, so it's unanimous. Now the position of secretary. Secretary, I feel, could be any member of the subcommittee. Do we have any nominations or self-nominations for secretary?
say Carol. Or Carol.
All right, so I have a nomination for Cece. Are you accepting that nomination, Cece, or declining? Going to decline. Okay. Any other nominations for secretary? No? Okay. Well, since it is not mandatory that we have a secretary, and since the city has been providing notes from our meetings and posting them on the city website, and since they've been filmed and posted on the Raise the Balloon website, we'll just move on then without filling that position. Okay, our next item is non-agenda public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone who wants to make a comment. Please limit your comments to up to 2 minutes maximum. And this would be comments on anything that is not on the agenda, so non-agenda items. And so I'll have you come to the center of the room here, and yes, John is going to be timing things and letting you know with a yellow and red flag when your time is getting near and up.
Thank you. I'm Daniel Schmielowski. Before I begin, I would like to thank the members of the planning group, and especially everyone out in the community for what you're doing. It's wonderful to take action, to do something, to be here. It's wonderful. But we have a campaign for a unified school board, and you have a choice between 2 or 3 people running. My primary consideration is public safety, followed by academics and faculty relations. I've been in Claremont for over 50 years, and I have a background in French, linguistics, education, real estate, and sociology. So there's no one with a more diverse background academically. I have degrees in all of those subjects. So my background in real estate will enable me to conduct an independent audit of the San Diego Unified School District Real Estate Department. It is high time we audit these people, find out where the money's going. And also, in addition, I need to tell you, I live like a monk practically. I don't have a car, but how I live transcends how I'm going to govern on that school board. And I guarantee you that I'm going to squeeze every dime out of your tax dollars, every penny, and nothing will be wasted. Nothing. And right now, not the case. And thank you. And one more thing. Oh, before I forget, I want to thank my driver, Richard McNamee, if I forgot. He's my driver tonight. So, I appreciate what you're doing. You're here. It's wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Any additional public comments?
Hi, I'm Paula Gandolfo. I'm over in Pacific Beach. I'm a resident, and I'm on the planning group over there, and I want to thank you guys for being in this room. It's really important to be involved, not just because of the trolley, but because of all the changes that are happening here in Mission Bay. In particular, the De Anza Cove project, which is going to impact you just as much as going to impact us. So please stay involved, stay educated. I applaud you for recommending education, always left already. Education and safety, in particular the safety up and down Balboa Avenue. Once that trolley station goes in, we're hoping that lots of people want to come by bicycle to the beach, and they're going to need safe routes to get from the east side of Marina Boulevard to the west side of the freeway. So please, think about it, get your neighbors involved, stay engaged, and thank you very much.
Any other individuals wishing to make a comment? Okay, then let us move on. Our next item is an action item to review and finalize, hopefully, our vision statement and guiding principles. Sure.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Prinz with the City of San Diego's Planning Department, and I'm here to work collaboratively with the subcommittee and discuss land use and zoning on tonight. Before we get into the vision statement and guiding principles, I wanted to give a little bit of a recap of where we've been and where we're going, both with the task force meetings and the overall timeline of the specific plan effort. So this is the 6th meeting that we've had so far of this subcommittee meeting. The first one that we held back in June of 2015 where we talked about issues and opportunities for the area. Then we had a meeting here in this room to gather input from the community at large and talk about the general plan guiding principles. We spoke in August about the vision statement, and we did a preliminary land use assessment to identify what are the areas of potential change versus what are the areas that are going to remain stable and we're not proposing any change. We looked at further preliminary land use and urban design concepts, got some feedback from the subcommittee and the community at large as to what that new development should look like and what sort of input should be incorporated into the specific plan design guidelines. In November, we spoke about mobility and looking at the roadways within the community, specifically Morena Boulevard, and how to use the right-of-way, as well as the bridges of Claremont Drive and Tecolote. Tonight, we're going to again further talk about the land use concepts and the proposed land use designation changes that have been identified previously, talk about those a little bit more in depth, specifically the mobile home sites and other potential sites. And then we'll have a presentation from Glenn Schmidt on the Town Center Park, his proposal for the area. And then we're planning to come back in March, with a draft land use plan, mobility plan, and design guidelines. So we feel we have a significant amount of information that we've gotten from the community to establish a draft land use and mobility plan, and we hope to further refine that tonight to then bring forward something for the community to evaluate in March. In looking at the overall specific plan schedule, as you know, we kicked off in March of last year. We were going through establishing the context. So right now through this process is preparing the plan framework and looking at what are the land use and mobility changes that are going to be evaluated for analysis as part of the California Environmental Quality Act process. So that's going to take us from fall to the winter of 2016. We're going to begin drafting the document over the next couple of months as we continue to meet both with Claremont and Linda Vista. We'll be preparing the draft EIR sometime in late spring, early summer. We hope to have a public review draft for everyone to see of that EIR, the Environmental Impact Report, in the fall of 2016. And then the approval process will occur sometime between then and the spring, summer of 2017.
Okay, so at some of our previous meetings, we did collaborate on developing a vision statement, and this is the draft that was kind of put together to enhance the Morena Corridor as a mixed-use area that has a vibrant community core with a strong restaurant retail component and central gathering place, balanced residential density that includes affordable housing, quality urban design, safe and accessible travel for all modes, employment opportunities, adequate infrastructure, and public amenities. Kind of a long sentence. And the preliminary guiding principles that were developed are to protect and enhance the corridor's unique neighborhood character, ensure that new development respects the existing built environment, improve visual quality along Morena Boulevard, preserve public views of Mission Bay, and then also to establish a varied and balanced mix of uses by encouraging the preservation of existing restaurants and the development of new restaurants along the Morena Corridor, providing a range of housing options, integrating new uses that complement the existing neighborhood character, promote the corridor as a place of services, shopping, and small business, create additional gathering and recreational open space opportunities, improve mobility for all modes, And to do this, we would establish safe access to the trolley stations, provide adequate parking for all new development, ensure safe and efficient travel for pedestrians, bicycles, and vehicles. And then another principle is to celebrate the community history that dates back to the turn of the 20th century. And our final principle would be to maximize sustainable development. Now, I would like to try to move forward on finalizing both our vision statement and our guiding principles. In reviewing these over and over again, there are a lot of duplications between the vision statement and the guiding principles. The Linda Vista community has begun their meetings on the Marina Corridor specific plan as well, and they also felt that our vision statement was a little too long and wordy for them to adopt. And they preliminarily have 7 points that they want to include in their guiding principles vision statement. And I just wanted to kind of share those with you. The first is that it has mixed residential and commercial uses, that it is a walkable area, that it retains the current height limits, that it increases mobility without increased traffic, that it has compatible density with existing neighborhoods, that it provides infrastructure and parks for any increased density, and that it retains jobs. So there's a lot of similarities between their guiding principles or preliminary guiding principles and ours. I would like to propose a modification to these by simplifying our vision statement because there is so much repetition. I think, and this is my proposal is to create a vibrant mixed residential and commercial area defined by quality urban design and optimal infrastructure. You know, we could, if this is accepted, we could add a few terms or phrases to our guiding principles that would no longer be in our vision statement to clarify it a little further, but I wanted to propose this and see what kind of discussion we have on this matter.
The guiding principles up there are ours.
They
don't match what I have on the paper.
Yes, that paper that I handed you was my proposal. This is, I'm sorry, this is a copy of the original guiding principle. This one here is what's up there, and that is what had been developed to this point.
So you are adding more detail.
Yes, on that proposition there are some underlined portions that were pulled from the vision statement and added to the guiding principles instead.
I'm trying to understand what we're using these guiding principles for. Is this for the city to draft the specific plan?
Yeah, the vision statement and guiding principles would be incorporated into the specific plan, and they would inform our development of the land use and mobility network, as well as urban design and all the other components of the specific plan.
So I kind of get the feeling that this subcommittee is here to, I guess, work only with guiding principles and not specifics. So is it the city's intent to take these guiding principles and go and do all the specific work as far as exacts, for example, zoning? Are you guys going to decide what gets zoned where based upon our guiding principles or based upon some sort of recommendations that this subcommittee is going to be making to the CCPG? Because one of the things that I'm seeing here is that you're concluding these meetings. You're cutting this off. This is meeting 6, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you are talking about going, not having any more meetings until March, is that correct?
We have a meeting scheduled for February with Lynn Vista, and at this point, we would be doing further work on the mobility network, the land use plan, and the urban design concepts, and that's going to take some time to develop. And then we would come back in March to evaluate that and have the subcommittee and the public as large review that plan.
Okay, so the city is going to go basically begin drafting the plan.
Correct.
And you're going to bring that back to us in March. What's confusing is that we have made no recommendations at this point to the community planning group. And you're already scheduling, drafting the plan. When did you anticipate we were going to come to, this subcommittee was going to come to some sort of conclusion in terms of its specific recommendations to this plan, and then present that to the community planning group?
The goal is to have those recommendations being presented to the community planning group in spring. We will be developing the specific plan over the next couple of months, and we'll share that both with the subcommittee, the planning group, and the public at large. In addition to that, it's not our intent to necessarily conclude all of the meetings at the end of this month, or excuse me, in March, but rather to go through the environmental review process and doing all the technical analysis, all the mobility analysis needed to inform the specific plan, as well as be compliant with the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, in advance of going through the planning group's review and then on to city council ultimately for recommendation of adoption of the plan. So again, there's a lot of moving parts, and really what we're trying to get at this point is the direction on the guiding principles in terms of how it informs the land use, as well as, again, what we're talking about tonight, specific sites within the area that could be considered for new land use designations, such that we can prepare those design guidelines, we can prepare the mobility network, and provide those details to you in the spring.
So it's not contingent upon our recommendation to the CCPG. So your draft is something that's really independent of our recommendation to the CCPG at this point. In other words, you're saying that you hope to have our recommendations made in the spring to the CCPG? Is that, you ran it by me so fast, sorry, I'm getting a little aged. And I'm trying to follow the planning process here.
We are developing those recommendations collaboratively. I think we will, as we discuss the land use sites tonight, we have developed our recommendations, the staff recommendations, based on input we've received from the subcommittee in previous meetings. Not only the November meeting, but also the meetings in September and June. So, you know, these are used to inform what the recommendations are, and that's what we're discussing tonight. So, this is not meant to be a final. It's really a discussion of the land use itself on a couple of key sites within the Claremont area. We will then present that to the community planning group along with Margie as the representative of the.
Well, what I'm then hearing is that the sort of ambiguous meetings and vague meetings we've had to date through this subcommittee is, and the information that you've gathered at these meetings is enough for you and city staff to now go and start drafting the specific plan.
We have a substantial amount of information to begin preparing elements of the specific plan.
So you already are preparing the elements of it.
We have not started specifically writing the specific plan yet. No.
I'm trying to understand then the usefulness of the subcommittee if you're already on your way doing that, and we haven't made our recommendations yet. It doesn't seem to be. It's not what I read in the planning process manuals. So maybe you can enlighten me.
So I'm Nancy Brigado, Deputy Director in the Planning Department. I think I just want to say that when Michael says there's a lot of moving parts, it's because there's kind of tight deadlines to do the work, but we listen, we take input at every meeting, and the recommendation certainly is important, and certainly will be, the formal recommendation will absolutely be considered before a draft specific plan goes out. But there's some things that are pretty clear messages along the way, like the height limit and different things like that, so we can certainly start to work to prepare some of the design guidelines or some of the background work that we've learned throughout this entire process, both phase 1 and phase 2. But absolutely, the final recommendation of the subcommittee and the planning group will be taken into account before, a draft specific plan is prepared.
Before it's prepared.
Yeah. Bragado.
Is that P?
B-R-A-G-A-D-O.
Your position is?
Deputy Director.
Thank you.
So we will have further meetings, we have further agenda to cover. I would like to refocus on the vision statement and the guiding principles, so then we can move forward with some other information items and potential action items on specific land use sites and issues. So I wonder if the subcommittee has any comments regarding the proposed vision statement.
New vision statement or proposed vision statement, create a vibrant mix of residential and commercial area defined by quality, urban design, and optimal infrastructure. I think if we have 1,000 people, we are going to have 1,000 visions. It's not defined enough.
The previous vision statement, or the previous draft vision statement, was very extensive, and the guiding principles do define it further, was my objective. If there is consensus that the other draft vision statement and guiding principles are the desired vehicle, then we can move forward with that. Does anyone else on the subcommittee have a?
Well, now that I'm understanding the guiding principles are really going to be the only significant input that this subcommittee is going to be giving to the city as they go off to draft the plan. I'd like to make a motion that we have time that all of the committee members, those who are not here as well, have a time to look over your proposed guiding principles and the vision statement, because I don't feel, and I'm not speaking for all of the committee members, but for me, the original vision statement that was drafted felt like it came out of Public Works, the city's third-party vendor, and had I known that such weight was going to be given to these guiding principles, I thought these guiding principles were to help us come to some more significant and detailed conclusions about this plan. This is a large plan. And and in regards to the time constraints that the city has, I don't care that you're under a time constraint. I really don't. This is our community. This Marina Boulevard needs to be configured properly, and we need public input on this. And if you're And if you are indicating that our role is guiding principles and vision statements, we have a lot of work within this committee to achieve that.
I'll try to clarify again in terms of what it means to have guiding principles and a vision statement. It's not the only input you have, absolutely not. What you do is the vision and the guiding principles help lay the kind of the policy groundwork for everything else. So you make your recommendations, you make specific recommendations, you make broad recommendations. When we go back to the office and work with our consultants, everything we write gets viewed through a screen of your guiding principles. So it's not the only thing you do, but it helps set the stage for the entire process. And it's not the only thing we look at, absolutely not.
And just based on what you just said, then I make the motion again. That we have time that all of the members of this committee take the time to review this on their own, in the quietude of their
We have a
homes,
motion on the
whatever,
table.
not at a meeting
Do I-
here
do I
where
have a
we're forced to
second?
come up with conclusions. Thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
Can you second the motion?
Any
Great.
further discussion? Ms. Lynn?
I had missed the last couple of meetings just because I was traveling and the different things going on. And I know we were talking about this same vision statement 3 meetings ago. So, in fact, I'm surprised we hadn't already adopted something by now. So I'm a little concerned that it's taking us this long to be able to come to a consensus and come to an agreement on it, because we obviously do need to move forward and start developing a plan. I mean, that's all I really have to say, that was, sure.
I kind of think that we should, like Jim said, get together and have the city kind of lay out where they're at too. I don't know how they're seeing the vision statement is what I'm trying to get. I mean, we may be thinking one way and they're thinking another way. So I think that that's part of the meeting that I want to have with, people out here and our committee, and find out where are they at this point. I don't want to get to the draft and then say, look, this is how we understand it, that's what we want. It may not be at all what we want. It wasn't the last time, why would it be this time? So we need to understand where they're going with the draft and what they're going to do for us. I mean, it's all about, we want them to throw us a bone, since we're going to have to put all this stuff to work here.
Well, again, the vision statement and guiding principles are just an introductory component of any planning process. And ours does not, it's possible for Linda Vista to have a different vision and set of guiding principles. I made this proposal because I felt it was valuable to kind of try to align our, the guiding principles and vision as much as possible based on our previous meetings, because we have discussed this many times, as well as information from the Linda Vista community, the